All right, welcome everyone for an unscheduled, unplanned live, but I've been putting this off for too long, and as you can see, I had yet another print on my Voron run out of filament overnight, and that is the straw that broke the camel's back, because this is filament that I don't have enough of anyway to finish my project, and it's really time that this massive Voron that prints so fast get a filament sensor. So I'm gonna take the time and do a whole bunch of upgrades. And I don't know if anyone's gonna tune in at this hour as usual. That's always my concern, but if you guys hang out, that's awesome. If you guys learn something or have questions or just keep me company, that's awesome. So I got a whole list of upgrades we're gonna do here. Starting from the one that I wish I had installed sooner, which is the Orthus design, the Orthus filament runout sensor by Dyze design. And I have gone ahead and made a custom designed angled bracket for this. And I'm pretty excited. Welcome Mason, welcome non-fan. So after we do that, or I don't know what order I'm going to do things in. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? I have a microphone above my head, which I hope is giving half-decent audio. I need to pick up the acoustic panels that I bought for this studio, and I just haven't had the time. So I apologize for that, and I apologize for the cable that is running through the frame. 2:50 a.m., that's awesome. So we're going to do that. Then really quickly we need to print out some panels for this TFT 5.0 by BigTreeTech, which I'm hoping to get installed with KlipperScreen today. So we can do that really quickly and print it on the Sovol SV07, which has kind of become my go-to It Just Works printer, believe it or not. So why don't I share screen and I can show you guys what I'm doing there. And we'll get that all going. How do I share screen here? Share screen. Yeah, there we go. And we can get that up and running. We just need the Pi TFT mount with a standard Klipper profile and standard Voron settings, which is like 6 loops, 50% grid infill ASA, and of course everything is blocked here. Okay, that should be good. I'm just gonna go really quickly and check that the filament's actually loaded in the printer. Let me know in the comments where you guys are dialing in from. All right, let's do this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and print that off. South Africa, welcome, just before 9 a.m. I didn't know that you guys were an hour behind us right now. It's almost 10 here. All right, so we're gonna keep that there so that we can all see it and just make sure. Now I wonder, can I screen share at the same time? I think I can. Add a screen share overlay. There we go. Let's put that up here. And you guys are in charge of watching the print for me, okay? Thank you guys for tuning in. It's exciting to have you guys all with me. So first things first, I really want to get this Dyze design Orthus on. Then I want to do this TFT 5.0, but we're going to need to wait for that print to finish, which is going to take some time, apparently. I don't know how long. I didn't see. Let's see. Everything is blocked by this window. 2 hours. Okay, so maybe we won't get that done here, but we could wire it up. Dyze design. I also want to, we should probably just take the top panel off anyway now. because I want to do magnetic top panels like I did here. You can see I've done all the magnetic panels, which makes all the difference in the world if you want to actually be able to print PLA with your Voron. Because if you don't, let me tell you, it just gets too hot in there. So yeah. +3. Here we're +2. Or wait, that doesn't make sense though, because I'm an hour ahead of you, we said. Usually I thought we're on the same time as Joburg. Apparently not. I'm looking at some of these parts, by the way, these printed parts, and they were printed on a Prusa in ASA in a very large enclosure, and it's just, they're bad. The parts just aren't good. And that's nothing again. I mean, Prusa can print great, but it's just not a printer that's meant to print ASA and ABS and stuff without a smaller enclosure, because like, look at the quality of these parts. Just terrible. I mean, you guys can't see that, but. And then I compare it to like something that I printed after the fact on the Bamboo. It's like, check this out. Look at that. Dual color hinges, perfect finish. I mean, just flawless. Looks like a store-bought part. So that's nice. And then if we get all that stuff done, I have even more upgrades that I want to do later. But considering how long I've been putting off just these 2 or 3 things, let's see how far we get. And feel free, guys, to ask questions or anything, or just, you know, shoot the shit, because it's always way more fun to have company. And I'm happy to answer questions. Whoa! There goes that. Man, this thing gets so dusty. All right, let's see. Daylight savings in Europe. Yep, that explains it. By the way, what do you guys think of the black background? Pretty soon it's going to have honeycomb wall all along the back, but I'm just having a hell time printing it all out because all my printers are in projects and being worked on and stuff. But Bamboo Lab was very kind to send me like 20 kilos of filament to do that project. By the way, we need to keep an eye on this print. All right, is it starting? Is it heating? 260. Oh, the bed is not going to reach 105. That profile isn't right for the SV07. And you guys can hear me okay? Because I know this microphone tends to run soft. Clean for now. Clean what? The Voron or the audio? All right. Top panel. You know what? I actually am gonna have to take off these screws. I don't know what screw is in there. Lucky guess. These panels won't come off until you remove the handles. Who are we gonna see next on the podcast? This week is Kenneth Jang, the founder of Obico. So that should be a fun episode. And I don't know after that. Actually, off the top of my head, I don't know the guests. I should probably be organizing all this stuff, huh? Or I'm gonna like lose it. Good question, though. How easy is it for a beginner to assemble and use a Voron printer? I have a P1P and was thinking to sell it and buy an X1C or a Voron. So there are different Vorons, right? And I'm not a master. I've only built this one, which is the 2.4, which most people would agree is the hardest one to build. There's easier ones like the Trident and the, I understand that the Switchwire, I think, it's the one that's a bed slinger, are much easier to build. I've heard people say that they built a 0.2 in something like 10 or 15 hours. This took me over 40 hours. And I did a whole series of videos on it, so I recommend you watch them, but I'll be happy to kind of outline what I said there. Nothing about the build was hard. the instructions are so good, they make IKEA instructions look confusing. Like every single bolt, every single screw, you know, they even tell you like here, this bolt is going to be a little bit tricky to screw in, so you should hit it from the right angle. Like the instructions are perfect for this printer build. But if you're not handy and or good with your hands and or you don't have patience, you're going to have a bad time. I'll also say like this is the opposite experience you had from your P1P, right? The P1P is like, we have the profiles for you, we have everything for you. Here, every single thing you've got to kind of figure out yourself. And yeah, there are some profiles available out there, and I'll happily send you my config files. But every Voron's different, right? So my printer is going to behave differently with certain materials because I have, you know, the stealth burner with the Fadus Rapido, and that's going to be different than a Mosquito Magnum, and it's going to be different than... So each printer behaves differently, and then you have all the different custom stuff. Like my startup sequence is going to be different because I have the purge bucket, I have a clicky probe, you know. So I like to liken it like, imagine the P1P is kind of like your Tesla Model 3, and the X1 Carbon's like a Tesla Model S Plaid, right? It just works, right? This is like a custom hot rod. It can be faster than, you know, the Ferrari or whatever, but it's going to take you a lot of hours to get it working the way you want it, and it's never going to be done. You know, if any of you, I always give car metaphors, and then I realize not everyone's a car guy like me, but if any of you have ever messed around with customizing cars, you know that it's never done, and a car that you've tweaked and customized is always going to have these like little rattles. It's always going to have these little weird things that are particular to you and the way that you built it. So, you know, that could be a real turnoff for some people with the Voron project, and for other people, that's what they love. I would say that the two different audiences for the two different printers are completely different, and there may be overlap, but like, you build a Voron not because you want a printer that just works. Hey, speaking of Voron pros, Rav Meimad, who's built like 10 of them, is in the chat. Good morning, Benzion. Tell me if anything I'm saying is you would disagree. You build a Voron because you want a printer that works and is great and has awesome performance, but really you build a Voron because you want an awesome project. And you buy a Bamboo Lab printer because you don't want to mess with it. You don't even care that you can't mess with it. I'm missing a part, I'm realizing. And you're just happy to have a printer that works out of the box. I'm going to go see if I can find another piece to this. And I'll be right back. If you're strictly a builder, if you're strictly a user, not a builder, yeah, definitely do not build a Voron. It is not the printer for you, I would say. I'll be right back. Maybe I'll turn on the lights so you guys can see the print going. Well, our first upgrade is already stuck. I know I printed that part. I just have to find it. This is part of my issue. Like, I print so many parts, and I can't find them because I have just bins and bins of unfinished projects. So we're probably going to have to print that piece again. The other side for the Orthus. I know I printed it. 100%. This is my bin, one of my bins of unassembled projects. tend to think things are prototypes when I print the final one, and then I throw it away. But I should know better. Where is it? I'm just going to look real quick, guys, and if I don't find it, we're going to print another one. Unfortunately, all my printers here are working at the moment, so that might put a real hamper in our ability to actually finish this today. Is it in the box with all the 0.2? This is not. Damn. And that's a big part. It's going to take hours to print. The struggle is real. Annoying. I must have tossed it. Or lost it. I either tossed it or I lost it. Well, that's crappy. Super crappy. Now we gotta reprint. I'm tempted to reprint it on this machine while we work on it, but that's just a recipe for disaster. Top pane is the most important to remove. Yeah, I'm gonna do, part of what we're doing here is getting magnetic top pane done. I really wanted to get this Orthus on. You know something? I'm tempted. This isn't the right way to do it, but I'm tempted to just temporarily mount this and drill a hole or something. And I think it'll be fine. But I do need to also take this out, which is how I'm running my cables. Space at the top heats up so quickly, yeah. Oh, cool, you have a print farm. That's awesome. It seems like there's a huge delay between when I talk about something and when you guys respond. So I think what I'm going to do, this isn't ideal, but first off, I think I need to lose that one screw at the very top. Oh, shit, that actually works. Done is better than perfect, right, guys? So I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the old panel on there, and we're just going to drill a hole for the Bowden tube to go through rather than reprinting a 2-hour part. And we can fill that hole later. I should print the part that feeds the PTFA. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing now, Benzion. You see how this Orthus filament sensor, I put at an angle? And I did that because I saw on your printers that you have things going at an angle. So I'm going to do precisely the same thing. I just need to find a drill, and I'm going to drill it at an angle rather than reprint the whole thing, which I did design a whole Bowden tube holder. But I don't have the patience right now to reprint the parts when all my printers are busy. So we're going with done is better than perfect. Benzion, when are you coming to visit? Do you plan to do any meetups? I can't really do meetups here just because of the zoning. This is supposed to be like a private storage unit. So I think that's not a great idea. But maybe I will, just not here. There we go. That was easier than I thought it would be. Angular Bowden tube insert. I'll reprint the part later. Maybe. When Shmuel lets me. Shmuel is the baby's name? I thought it was a girl. Baby 7. Super Sheva. Super 7. Or is Shmuel your nickname for your wife? I hope not. Number 7, Shmuel. B'sha'ah tova. That's exciting. Baby Shmuel. Alright. That is not exactly a perfect filament path. I don't think it's going to matter too much. It's close. But we do need to get this wire in there. I didn't think about that. Yeah, we need to get the wire up in there. Brother had a baby girl. Right, I remember now. How's stuff been with baby number 7? Are you guys sleeping at all at night? Famous last words of any project. I'll do it later. Yeah, I'll fix that later. I'll put a filament sensor on later. I've had this printer, what, almost a year? All right. I also fell off a scooter at 30 kilometers per hour, so I don't really have a shoulder. My left shoulder is not functional. I think we should wire this up before I close it up again. So yeah, I don't so much have a left shoulder. By the way, look at how that SV07 prints ASA. Beautiful, huh? Google Campus gives space for meetups free. That would be cool. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That'd be really cool. I used to know someone who managed events there. Okay, beautiful. That's a really good idea. I'll do that. Thank you. Okay. Let's get you up in there. Let's get you up in here. Just want to tuck these cables. I designed this bracket this way because Dyze design says the closer you can get the filament sensor to the actual extruder, the better, but on a Core XY that's running these speeds, I really didn't want to, put it there. Just not going to happen. So let's wire you up. Maybe first I'll secure things. You sleep fine. If you're adding the filament sensor, make sure it's constrained from sensor to extruder. What do you mean constrained? And also I need to figure out how the hell to wire this thing. This is why you guys are on here for the PTFE is constrained. I'm not sure what you mean by constrained, because I'm gonna hook up it. The PTFE is broken, obviously, so that it can sense the filament. Come on, let's try not to pinch that cable though. So the way they have it is, why is that at the top? This is a filament sensor. I need, good point, before I close all this up, wow, I'm glad you said that, I need to run the camera up to the top. What's that at the top? Yeah, this is the Dyze Design Orthus Smart Filament Sensor. And I'm really glad that you said that camera bit, because before I close up all these wires for the second time, I should reroute the camera while I'm at it. And maybe I want to take the back panels off, but I'm going to see if I can do it without. I don't think that's the right one. Yeah, all this is a little trickier with one bum shoulder, but I just can't put this off anymore. I keep wasting filament and losing hours of prints because I don't have a filament sensor. Which honestly, I gotta say, I love the design of the Voron and everything. It kind of blows my mind that it doesn't have a filament sensor. And it's not very common in the community to put one on either. Like, Bension, you said none of your Vorons have filament sensors, if I recall. Can I do this without taking off the back panel? I've moved this camera like 4 times and I'm never happy with where it is because there's always a trade-off of either vibration or the flying gantry messes with time lapses or the cable chain hits it. And so finally I'm like, you know what? I just need to put it up top and that's it. But I can't get to it now. V0.2 has one. Oh, I didn't know that. I have 2 0.2s there that I need to build. Hopefully Bension is going to come help me with that very soon. And some other lovely friends from around here because I don't have time to build the 2 of them. As you can see, I barely have time to tinker with my own printers, the existing ones. Come on. So close to breaking this little bracket. Oh, there it goes. Damn, that's really in there. Yeah, the first time there is one officially. It just makes sense to have a filament sensor, especially because you can build your own, right? With a, all you need is a micro switch. I was gonna build my own and then I saw this Dyze design one and they were kind enough to send me one. And so I don't have to build it myself. How did I get this in there? Like, you got in, so somehow you gotta come out. At one point, I was able to get a Allen key in there. I think I just stripped it beyond recognition. Hallelujah. 8 kilogram roll of filament. Yeah, I guess you don't need a sensor when you have that, right? Who makes an 8 kilo roll? That's pretty crazy. Now here's the question. How is going to be the best way to run this thing? I feel like I got to turn the printer. Oh, that shoulder. I feel like what I need to do is run it through here, which means taking it out of the cable chain altogether to save all that slack. It looks to me like that print on the Soval is coming out beautifully. This guy's gonna have to be taken off. I don't know why I'm choosing to do this now. Like, I had a perfectly healthy shoulder for months, but no, now, when I spent the entire weekend on painkillers, this is when I've decided I should be fixing it. Can't see shit. I suppose the best way is just to have a scale on the filament holder. That would make sense. But slicers don't perfectly calculate how much filament you're going to use either, to my knowledge. It's also dependent on your profile, because if you have the density wrong of a particular filament, then the weight isn't correct. There you go. Whoever it was in the comments who's like, yeah, I'm thinking of building a Voron, selling my P1P and building a Voron, I'm sure that they're now completely turned off from the idea. Like, this is just the amount of work to add something. Imagine how much work it is to build the damn thing. I loved it. I enjoyed the process a lot. But it's not for everybody. That I assure you. Bension, how many Vorons have you built at this point? For yourself and for customers? Do you even remember how many? There we go. All right, I gotta say the size difference between 1 kilo of ABS and 1 kilo, yeah, that's exactly. First printer with a runout sensor was Ender 3 Max. Damn, my shoulder hurts and I didn't bring painkillers. We play through the pain. All right, how we doing? Keep the questions coming, by the way, if you guys have questions about stuff, about the channel, videos, even limited personal questions, I'm happy to answer. One of the tricky things about working on these printers is like, you're in the middle of working on it. Say you only have one, right? You're in the middle of working on it and then you're like, okay, I just broke this part. No worries, I'll print another one. You're like, oh, I can't. So I have other printers, but 2 of them are at home. 1 of them is in the middle of a job. 2 of them are not yet built. And this one is now in pieces. So if I break something right now, I need to wait until the Soval is done before I can reprint anything. That's a pain. Bension, almost 10 Vorons. I don't know where you find the time. Yeah, so the thing about the Voron is, like, it's not problems, it's just it requires more tweaking. I don't know, Bension, if yours require as much tweaking, but I find like I can't just take any old filament profile and punch it in. Like, because of the speeds, because of the size of the bed, like, I really need my profiles to be dialed in. Or maybe it's because, you know, we don't realize, like, when you use a printer like a Prusa or a Bamboo, and they say, like, all the profiles are dialed in for you, they've just done a lot of work for you. And we don't realize how much that work is until you have to do it yourself for your very own Voron. And then it's a ton. It's a massive effort. Like, I had this one filament that I just couldn't get to print properly on here, no matter what I did. And I had to completely retweak the profiles. Damn. I was worried it was going to be that way. Get out of here, gantry. Let's see, with the P1P I had a problem and I fixed it fast since the printer's based. Yeah. So I agree, Matrix Ray, like, yeah, you know exactly how it works and you know, but it's more the tweaking. Yeah, exactly. The tweaking tends to be how each machine is different. Like, you know, I've got the Fetus Rapido. That behaves completely differently than a Revo would. I've got the 350, so it takes longer to heat up. I think I'm just going to disconnect the chain here because this is a nightmare with my shoulder in the state that it is. Keep in mind, we're still on upgrade number 1. Well, 1.5 because we're now relocating the camera, but not making a ton of progress here. Come on. Okay, now let's get that camera out of here. I'm gonna have to do this anyway. The 2.4 is also, I think, maybe Ben Sion can confirm because he's built more of the different Vorons, but the 2.4 I think is the most complicated one because of the flying gantry, all the motors. There's a lot going on in here. There we go. Let's get you out of there. I'm putting the cable chains on at the very last part of this project. Because they're a nightmare. Wrong side. Is this entertaining or is this like the most boring live stream ever? I don't know. I don't watch a lot of live streams. There's 23 people on. I find the profiles I use work okay, just tweaking temp and cooling. I always have trouble with retraction. Yeah, one manual for everything. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. A3DP. V2 is the most complicated. V0 is the most infuriating. Is that just because of how small everything is, or that kind of makes me nervous because I have 2 of them I need to build. Okay, now I'm worried because I need to get this camera cable through here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it out through the top and push it back down, which means we need to turn this baby over. I've also come to realize, not just with this printer, but also with the Bamboo, like printers are not made to be put against walls or in cabinets or on shelves. Like manufacturers seem to have decided that we all should have easy access to the back of our printers, like on a table in the middle of the room. I don't know who decided that because it's silly, but like you really do need to be able to access the back of these printers. A lot of manufacturers are now just putting the filament thing on the back, which infuriates me. That's never good. All right, while we're down here, let's get the screen installed. You notice how I'm like in the middle of 3 different modifications at once and I haven't finished a single one? Why boring? In the comments, I put all the stuff that we're doing. So we're doing the Dyze design Orthus upgrade, but then we paused that to do the to reroute the camera because someone reminded me of the camera, which I need to reroute, and then I paused the camera routing to route the touchscreen because now we have to get into the bottom. I'm kind of just taking everything apart and doing things as I go, as I think of them, or in the order that most kind of makes sense. So here's the bottom. You can all judge my wiring job now. I think I did an okay job, except for all this stuff that I put in after the fact, which I can now do a better job of because we're in here, so why not? Let's take this and run this. This is all for time lapses. And I don't know where I can stash it. I guess I can stash it here. It won't fit. All right. Let's get you in. That's for the DSLR control. We'll glue this in later, as the joke goes. I think I'm just going to tuck it here in case I need some cable extension. Yeah. All right. Now, we got a bug in here. Let's get that out. Let's see what's going on in the comments. Studio looks nice. Thanks, man. You don't see what's off screen. Spent the long weekend building 2 Mercury 1. Cool. I did not disable zebra on my camera. Oh. Yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to touch it now because I'll mess something up for sure. But thanks for letting me know. I'll do it before the next stream. God damn, my shoulder hurts. Okay. Let's run the cable for the TFT. So BigTreeTech was kind enough to send me this awesome screen among some other things that I'm not sharing right now. But the cable they sent me is extremely short because it's meant to be mounted right on the back of the Pi. So I ordered my own cable here. And 50 other things from AliExpress. Okay. How long have I been at this? Almost an hour. We're making okay time. So here's this cable. And I'm glad that Bension is here because he'll know the right way to put it on. These were not cheap, so I only ordered 1 or 2. I think that's... Well, I'm very glad that I ordered 2 because that one's not long enough. Not even close. That's why we don't mess around when there's a 3-week lead time. We don't mess around. Order both sizes. Okay, now I assume this needs to go that way, right? Contacts go to the side that looks like it has metal. It's just so hard to get in here unless you flip the printer over. Beautiful. We're gonna leave this here, and that gives us enough room. Now, whoa, we need to get this off because this is no longer gonna be mounted on the monitor. I'm realizing in order to do that, I don't think I can do that because the screws are all the way in there. And I don't know how this thing's gonna mount. But I cut it temporarily, and I really don't think I can get in there anymore. Studio looks nice. I'm heading to a customer, so I'll be listening but not responding. Cool, man. Thanks for dropping in. I hope I get to see you next week. Yeah, I don't think I can get this off, guys. Because this is glued in. I'm definitely not going to be taking off the entire bottom panel. There's no chance in hell. So unless I can get an Allen key through here, fat chance, I don't see how I'm supposed to, like this is one of those things they really don't anticipate you taking off. I wish I'd known that before I busted it to a billion pieces. Fortunately, if I do manage to get in there, I really only need to turn like a turn or 2. But it's a challenge. Hit me up with questions, guys, if you have them. And like also feedback, right? Because I don't watch a lot of live streams. I don't know what makes for good live streams. But I've been told by people that they want me to do more of them. So tell me how I can make this more entertaining or if I'm doing well. All right, cool. That actually was easier than I thought. Maybe I can move this one over here. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hello. I love these snap-in T-nuts so much. They're the smartest thing. And I especially like the magnetic snap-in ones that don't slide around. Or the spring-loaded ones. Not magnetic, spring. They are so great. You can do this without destroying the Raspberry Pi and or... Haha! Look at that. Another part we need to reprint. Cool. From where are you guys watching? Someone currently watching in Prague. Matrix Ray, tell us more about how the podcast has been, how it's been going behind the scenes. I've been enjoying it. I think it's really fun. I'm a little disappointed with the viewership numbers, but I think I came from personal development, which is a bigger niche, as a lot of you guys know. And I had a small podcast that did, 7,000 to 10,000 downloads per episode at the 30-day mark. Some of my episodes would get 50,000 downloads. And also, my YouTube videos, the shorter ones, will get 25 to 150,000 views. So when I do a podcast episode and I spend an hour and I bring an amazing guest on, and it gets 1,500 views, that's a little disappointing, I'll be honest. Not that views are what matters, but it disappoints me that, I take this guest's time, and these are very busy people, and they give me an hour of their time, prime time, during their work week. They agree to come on live, which isn't an easy thing for a lot of people. And then it's like, 100 people watched live and a total of, 1,500 people or 2,000 people watched it. It's embarrassing a little bit for me, but I think maybe I just need to get used to the numbers in 3D printing being a little smaller. And also that, people don't have an hour to watch the podcast. I like the Soval ones, the Soval videos. Yeah, you're watching the SV07 in case anyone doubts that I really do print with it. It's printing there. It's the only printer that's currently running between all the ones that I have, because it really has become one of my just dependable printers. All right. We wanted to reroute this camera cable, right? That was the main reason we flipped the printer. So before I forget, owie, my shoulder. For those of you just tuning in, I took a spill off an electric scooter in the rain and went flying over the weekend, and so my shoulder is in quite bad shape. So if I whine about it, now you know why. Let's get this camera cable out and reroute it. Rio de Janeiro, that's cool. Is Rio reasonably safe these days? Or dangerous? Wonder. But locals always say that their hometown is safe, so. Because for them it is. Ugh, shoulder. May need to do a painkiller break, guys. Okay, there's the back of the printer. I did the 2.4. Am I planning to do a rat rig or trident? No, I mentioned so earlier. I have two different competing manufacturer 0.2s here, and I'm probably gonna do like a build competition with some friends and local subscribers, and we're gonna compete and see which one is easier to build. Because I don't have time to build two 0.2s all by myself. As you can see, I barely have time to modify my own printers and upgrade them. I don't have any plans to do a trident. And rat rig, I would love to do one. I have this dream of buying a vacation home in Portugal. And if I do, I'm going to drive down there and pick out a rat rig and build it. That'll be my vacation home. But that's a long ways away, because vacation homes aren't cheap. So I'm thinking, guys, that we should route this from the top to the bottom. What do you guys think? An easy target. I think I missed something. No home. Ah, I see. Easy target is about safe in Rio. Got you. I was shot in the head in a small town, so nowhere is actually safe. Where were you shot in the head? In what country? Holy shit. That's insane. Dude, the world has become a really unsafe place. That's insane, being shot in the head. That means someone actually intended to kill you, I would assume. Okay, I think we got to hear the story from Gerard. Holy crap. Haven't heard that before. It's funny because people think, they hear that I live in Israel and they're like, is it safe there? Statistically, it's safer than most places in the world. It's just the things that aren't safe are scarier and louder and noisier, like rockets flying. But like, I find Israel to be much safer than most places. I have lived in Singapore, and obviously nowhere is as safe as Singapore. Why did I just feel a little bit of budge here? That's not good. That's very not good. We don't want any budge in the frame. Something is loose here. Crap. We're going to have to tighten that. There is no truly safe place in Rio. I'm still curious where Gerard got shot in the head. Holy crap. I'm glad you're okay. That's pretty wild. So we've now diverged from our tangent of a tangent of a tangent, and we are tightening up the frame because as I was straightening it out, I felt something budge that should not have budged. And we want our frame to be extremely tight and rigid. Yeah. I bet you somewhere in the manual that I haven't looked at, it probably says somewhere that every 6 months or something you should retighten. Because that was loose. Loosey-goosey. Oh my god. Tied up on the floor when they shot me in the head. The alarm went off during a robbery. On the way out, they shot me. Holy crap. What country was this in, Gerard? Or is that... Are you guys both in Rio? Dude, that is... that's insane. That would make me want to move somewhere. That sounds like a really traumatic experience that probably necessitates a good amount of therapy, I would assume. Czech Republic is the 8th safest place in the world. Yeah, I also can't imagine experiencing here what people in the USA experience. And I lived in the USA, and let me tell you, wouldn't go back. There's a lot of nice things I can say about the US, but when I visit and I see, you know, in South Africa, okay, that makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's horrible, but it gives me some context. So now, let's run this camera, but I think we're going to have to turn it around or print a new... Ah, wait a minute. Here's an idea. What do you guys think about where we put the camera? Because, I mean, I designed this mount. I can redesign it. But I could put this on the top, and that way I'm guaranteed to not hit the... I could also turn it around. Turn the camera around so that it folds the other way. I was thinking I was going to put it like this, or like this, but I hate taking apart this Logitech. It's like so many unnecessary pieces, but we're going to have to do it. South Africa is 118th safest. Okay, someone hit the Google and tell me where Israel stands on this, because on the one hand, Israel's extremely safe. And on the other hand, there are segments of the population where there's stuff like honor killings and horrible things. And also there's wars and terrorism. So I'm curious. This is a Siri question, but I'm very curious for someone to look up where Israel is on the ranking. Maybe corner and think about the possibility of installing a nozzle cam. Yeah, I don't like the nozzle cam thing. To me, it's just more weight, you know? Like I already feel when I look at this printer and also especially the Creality K1 and I compare it with the Bamboo Lab, the Stealth Burner is like chunky. Look how massive this thing is. And granted, that's a lot of plastic, so it's not as heavy as it would look. Israel's 134th. Wow, that's really bad. That's super bad. I'm shocked. I wonder, I mean, like I said, we have segments of the population and areas that are dangerous that like I can't go, you know. So I bet you if we did cities comparison, where I live would be safe, but then yeah, the rest of the country. You don't have school shootings, but riots destroyed an entire city. Yeah. School shootings are one of the main reasons I left the US, that and the healthcare system. You're right, we totally digress, but I couldn't envision sending my kids to American school and or putting them through the American healthcare system or putting my wife to be, you know, I wasn't married at the time, but I couldn't imagine like having to make decisions on my children's health based on my deductible and being like, I don't know if we should go to the doctor. Is it worth the money? Like, it's one of the main reasons I couldn't stay in the U.S. Because I wanted a family. And here, like, I went to the ER immediately for my shoulder. Like, a doctor told me, because I wasn't going to go. I was going to try and be a tough guy. But a doctor friend wrote me up a referral and was like, you need to go. Because if your shoulder isn't sitting in correctly, like if it didn't relocate itself, you're just going to cause more damage as you move all weekend. And it was like, it's not a WoW stick. This is just a cheapy AliExpress knockoff of a WoW stick. I like it. It was like 34 bucks. It's on my, below there's a link with all my recommended gear. You can check it out. I have a link to it. So I think what I'm going to do is 180 all this stuff. Anyway, I went to the ER and, you know, it was a no-brainer and it didn't cost me money. I didn't have to think about it. I just thought about what's going to be best for my health right now. That's a big deal. Brazil has the highest yearly murder count. That's crazy, man. I'm sorry people have to live like that. Let's put this back together. Yeah, I don't know about the whole like branded versus unbranded WoW stick. You know, I'm super cheap because in Israel customs are crazy, and also prices are crazy. Like I will say that. Negative about living here. Everything's expensive, so I end up ordering stuff on AliExpress more than not. The talk got a bit dark. So I order most stuff on AliExpress, and even within that, I tend to order the cheap stuff because customs gets you. Like every box of filament bamboo sends me for 10 rolls, I get $70 worth of customs, which is like almost the price of the filament. Well, not quite. So I tend to buy a lot of cheap crap on AliExpress, which is a departure for me because I used to be like Mr. Brands, buy the best, you know, need to have branded everything. But I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm just like, if it works and it works well, it's fine by me. Customs are crazy, game. Yeah. How does the import tax? Wow, 60%. Why do you live in South Africa? Can we talk about that? Or Brazil? You guys have a similar black and white icon, so I can't differentiate you as well. Okay, I have news for you guys. I think we're gonna have to print a new bracket for this, which means it's another thing that we're leaving unfinished. Damn. Damn. We're gonna need to print another bracket. The angles are all wrong here. Unless nah, man, these angles are all wrong. Wait a minute. Isn't that arbitrary? The angle? You know what I'm tempted to do? 100% customs. Wow. That's messed up, man. You guys, I think I'm going to do something real shady. Hang on. Shady and temporary. Holy crap, I just went into the print farm. It's like 50 degrees hotter in there. Also, I didn't fully reassemble the camera, I realize. I need to do that. Wow. To be honest, things here usually cost twice as much, but that's just because of greed. Like, the local retailers will, except for Bension, because he's awesome, but like, you know, they pay customs and shipping and import duties, and then a lot of stuff, like, you say, okay, cool, so it should be 20 to 25% more, right? Because our sales tax rate is 17%, but sometimes it's like 50. Or like, I was in Portugal recently, and it's like, even food, we're not talking 20 to 30% more expensive. Like, the same thing, 6 times more expensive. And that's because we have monopolies, you know? Moving out of Brazil is a very rare thing. Huh. All right, so I shaved this down so we get a little bit more of an angle. It didn't work. So my next plan, again, temporary. Anything I do that's ghetto, I just say it's temporary. Next plan is just to heat this up and bake it, because I want to get something working today, and I can't not have this printer with a camera because I leave it overnight with Obico or whatever. And I go home. I'm building my Voron while you're upgrading your Voron. That's awesome. Which one are you building? Give us details, and don't judge me for what I'm about to do. This is ASA, so it's going to be tricky. Sometimes, like, yeah, you can reprint the part, make it perfect and all that, and I will at some point. But for a quick fix, you know, that's all you need to do. I just tore it. But whatever, this will last for a week until I can get into Onshape and redesign the part. There. That'll do. Sweet. Now let's run some cables. Yeah, you definitely can cut yourself with a deburring tool. All right, so now we're back more or less on the track we started off on. I do need to, once again, a third time, detach. I should maybe reassemble the camera. Then we're going to need to reattach the Orthus, deattach the Orthus, reattach the Orthus, so that we can get the wires running. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't reassemble this because I'm going to have to reprint this bracket. Let's just leave this camera disassembled. It's so ridiculous that you have to take off 16 screws just to get to the base of the camera. So we're going to protest. Which Voron are you building? Whoever's building a Voron. And what time is it while you're building your Voron? I think that's relevant information. The people desire to know. I'm wiring all this up like I know what I'm doing, but I have no idea. There's apparently a very good guide for the Dyze Orthus. I haven't read it, but apparently there is one. So I'm kind of just wiring it up and counting on the fact that I'll be able to figure it out from the instructions. So this is designed in such a way, I don't know if I did this intentionally, but that little screw goes right in to the channel, the T-slot, which is pretty cool. That way I can get it right up against it. But it does pinch cables. Get in there. I guess it could also technically go behind the... It doesn't have to be that way. It's too tight. But let's see. Doesn't really matter where the cables go, as long as they're hidden. I kind of figured out as I was building my Voron, these people, they're my kind of people. No cables showing anywhere on the build. That's my kind of people. It's quite hard to do this with a big softbox shining in your face on the other side. But at least you guys can see, right? Now you go in. Now you go in. Little M3, go in. Oh, this is a nightmare. Nightmare. Nightmare with that shoulder. Whoa. Get in there. Get in there. That's right. Love it. Do I use the CAN bus? No. Everything is wired up the old-fashioned way. How have the magnet panel clips been holding? Awesome. I really like them. You can see here, these are the magnets. And I really like them. They hold on well. I did not use VHB tape, and I don't recommend you do either, because it won't hold. So also my doors, everything, it's all E6000 rubber cement. But other than that, yeah, they hold on well. I also, I'd love to say I did this intentionally, but I accidentally flipped some of the magnets around on some of them, so there I can't put the doors on the wrong way, which is good. And yeah, it's night and day, because I can't, this machine cannot print PLA well unless it's open. Same goes for PETG. I just get layer shifts so nasty. Oh, nice. You're building this Voron. I wonder what colors. Let's see. Magnet panels, no canvas. Do the magnets. They're awesome. They do work with the foam around the panels. You just have to get the right thickness. What do I think? Does it make sense to put Klipper on an artillery sidewinder too, or better to get rid of this printer and get a Core XY printer? And will I switch to tab? Okay, so as far as upgrading printers, I think it depends. And I'm the kind of person that lets budget dictate. So I would say, what's your budget? You know, do you have a budget to get another printer? And or what's your tolerance for slower printing? I'm selling my Prusa, which is one of my only bed slingers, because I'm cheap and I'd rather use the money for other things, honestly. If you have the budget to get a Core XY printer, that's awesome. It's a great time to upgrade. There are wars going on right now that are driving prices down. You know, Creality's got its K1, and like, it's a great time for us as consumers. I think the dust hasn't settled yet, but it's still a great time to get a new printer, you know, because of things like Bamboo is now throwing in the camera for free with the P1P, and they're doing that just to remain more competitive against Creality, that's great, you know. Or do you want additional printers, right? I like having a lot of printers because I'm impatient, and it's driving me crazy that I'm going to have to wait to print some of these parts that I see I need to reprint because all my printers are busy at the moment. So there's that. As far as like the actual artillery Sidewinder, I don't know anything about it, but I'm pretty sure you could just get a Sonic pad, and I was impressed with the Sonic pad when I reviewed it. So I think it's up to you. But if you tell me, hey, you know, space is at a premium in my house, I really only like to have one printer at a time, and you're like, yeah, you know, I love 3D printing. It's my only hobby that I'm really into right now. I don't mind spending some money on it. Then yeah, man, treat yourself, as the, I think it was Parks and Recreation line goes. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Treat yourself. And I think, you know, any Bamboo Lab printer is a great choice. I love mine. I wanted to test the P1P, but I love my X1 Carbon so much that I have another one on the way, and I'm just not going to get a P1P and test it and compare it. I know that I should compare it to the Creality K1, but I just love the X1 Carbon so much, you guys. I really do. More than it would be worth it to me to do the comparison video, which I'm sure someone else will do, you know? All right, now we gotta figure out how to get this cable out of here. And I think we can just, first off, get the gantry out of the way. Ow, that's not good for the shoulder. Will I do the tap upgrade? I don't see the point. I'll be honest with you, Clicky is cool, man. Clicky takes a lot of weight off of the extruder that tap would add back on. So I don't get, like, sell me on the tap thing, because I don't get why people love it so much. All right, let's get this cable down here. I like my Clicky, and also Clicky is insanely accurate. And Clicky is cheap and easy to replace. If I need to, I can print new ones with readily available parts. I don't need specialized linear rails that the tap kit uses. Bension is always raving about the tap kit, my buddy who retails Vorons here. But I just don't get the draw. You know? But there are people who hate Clicky. I get that. Huh. Okay. So now I'm just doing a little cable management here, trying to get all these cables for the Orthus and also the camera to go into the V slots as clean as possible. As you can see, it's not going great because it's a lot of cable. All right, let's see what I'm missing here. Sold my Prusa, bought a Voron, did not start building it yet. 2 Enders, Bamboo, Voron, wow. Yeah, if you have a lot of printers, I mean, I don't know. Do you need more? Do you need another bed slinger? I'm only keeping the Soval SV07 because I really like it. It just prints well and it's reliable. And as you can see, like, I mean, I've got the Bamboo, but most of my printers are not it just works printers. They're Tinker printers. And I'm getting rid of the Prusa because it's just, even the old used Mark III is expensive for what it is, and that's money I can use for upgrading the studio. So I need a printer. I'm happy to keep a $300, $400 printer that does that. I'm not happy to keep the Prusa, which is so overpriced. Like, I can probably get $500 or $600 for it here, used. So maybe more even if I do the conversion in my head. Let's see. If Clicky works for you, keep it. That's the plan, man. I use tap because I do a lot of messing around with bed surface. Yeah, and you can do that with Clicky. If you're coming from a stock Z end stop and inductive probe, tap is worth it. Yeah, that was my conclusion. and the LDO kits come with clicky, everything you need to run it, so why not? It is going to be a real stretch to get all these cables into one V slot. And the LEDs are under the linear rails. There's absolutely no way I'm taking off linear rails to run cables. That would basically mean take the entire printer apart. Okay. Yeah, everything becomes a project with this printer because it's so custom, because everything is so flexible and accessible and you can take everything apart. The simplest thing, like moving the camera, right? It's like, what have we been here, an hour and a half? Not even close to done. Okay. Let's see. Get all that cabling in there. Go, baby, go, baby, go, baby, go. I don't think this cable channel or this cover is going to stay. It's too crowded. That might be a problem that glue can solve. Oof. Shoulder is not fun. Not fun. Don't ride scooters in the rain, friends. We're stuck. Pantry up. All right, what do we got? MK4 kit on the way. Not sure. Yeah, I canceled mine. Honestly, I set the LEDs up on that side. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I canceled my Mark IV upgrade kit. It just didn't make sense. I got the LDO Voron kit directly from LDO. It was a sponsored project. I actually built it on the channel. I mean, I did like a summary video. I didn't do the whole build. But you can watch it and see my impressions. But Rav Mehmad is the official reseller of these kits here in Israel. So check them out. Ben Sion was here a few minutes ago. Hello. Does this remind you guys of an icon of someone's video? Or someone who did a video with that icon, with that thumbnail? Alright, cool. It's not exactly fitting. I'm not sure what to do about it, because I don't have a lot of options. I guess I could run it down the back, out the outside. But that won't be pretty. From the back. Yeah, not good. Maybe I need to get the other cable in first. Not comfortable. All right. At some point we'll get to the electronics, and that's where I really need you guys' help. Because we know about me and reading manuals. It's not great. All right. I mean, I could also just drill a hole in this and run it down here. I don't think I need to run it across. That might make more sense. Let's just put it through the belt cover right there. Huh. All right. Remind me, guys, that we still have to close up the bottom of the printer because I am very likely to forget. We need a very small. Yeah, I think I'm just going to let the wires run from here. Unless someone objects. I could, without a doubt, run them along. No, I couldn't, actually, because anyways, right here, we have the extrusion for the bed. So, unless I want to take apart the bed, I think it's going to be better to run the camera and the Dyze, the Orthus filament sensor right from here, right in the corner. And plus, I don't want to pinch the cable under the bed. It just sounds like a bad idea. All right, here we are. Oh, I already have cables running here, and they're already pinched. So that's cool. Let's see what I'm missing. What happened with the Brazilian YouTuber who ruined everything? Now I'm curious. I think I'm just going to shave this down, give it a little more clearance, and put the rest of the cables through here. LDO are the sweetest people ever. It would be sad to me if someone screwed them. Jason's just the nicest guy. Such a proponent of the community and such a supporter of the community. And I'm not just saying that because he sends me free printers. He really is wonderful. He was the first person to see potential in my channel and send over a product for review when I was just starting out. I was like, I love your videos. I see a lot of potential. I love the way you explain things. So big shout out to Jason. Voron community is working on similar tool heads like Prusa has on the filament cutter bamboo. Oh, that's cool. All right, cool. A little more space clearance for cables to run through here. But in the second since I looked away, it is already peeled off. This extrusion cover is just not happy. How are we gonna get you to stay on? Stay on. I'm afraid that the answer is probably going to be, don't shove so many cables in me. Okay, that worked. Oh, I think we have progress, gang. I don't know what I did, but I rearranged the cables. And at least the top part is now snapped on properly. Excellent. You can get a lot in there, in those V slots, T slots. I don't know which one they are. I know that there are T slots and there are V slots, and they are different. And here we have a problem. coming, guys. I hear the comments. Just gonna get this one piece. Ah! My hat's stuck. Let's cut this a little shorter. Alright. Routing. Cable management. I'm probably gonna have to print something better for this. It's clearly not fitting these cables. It's not gonna stay put. So either I get it to stick right now, to do for now. Again, my hat is stuck. Okay, we can deal with cable management later. Let's get this guy on. We also should thread the cables through. Can you guys see okay or not at all? I'm feeling like this is going to be too short, the cable that Dyze gave me. But we're going to hope for the best. Run it through here. Worst case, we solder some extension. Okay. Now where's the webcam? That's here. Shove it through. Let's get that all the way in, because once we close it, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Maybe we should leave it open for now while we do the wiring. That would be the responsible thing to do. All right, where are we, guys? Ouch. Yeah. Yeah, customs is a tricky one. Ouch. Sounds like Brazil made it really hard to work with this guy. Israel doesn't make it easy, to be clear. But not that hard. $3,000 for a product that isn't even worth $3,000. Ow. Wow. All right. Did I seriously close up the bottom? No. I was like, I knew that I had more wiring to do. All right. Let's find those cables. So this is the Dyze design. Oh, so close. But you know what they say? Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. We're gonna have to solder a long cable, which is disappointing, but I don't think they anticipated a 350 millimeter build. This is the camera. All right. Camera can go here, here. Easy enough. All right, that print's looking pretty good on the SV07, hey? Maybe we will reprint the camera bracket. I need to redesign it, but maybe we'll reprint it next. I can't do two things at once. So here's this. I love how the cable management is so meticulous on the LVO kit. They've really made it so if you do it right, everything is perfectly, meticulously hidden away. My kind of build. There. Okay, let's get the camera plugged in. I suspect it goes this way. Nope. That way. FizzTech. I haven't tried any of their products. I have one of the Cyborg printers, but it's not the one you guys are thinking. I have one that's, I don't think even released yet, that I need to build. And I'm really excited about it. It's got a special wow factor to it that I haven't seen on any printers, or I haven't used on any printers. So that'll be fun, and I'm going to compare it to the LVO kit. Yeah. I guarantee your V0 fits inside. In fact, I bet you 4 of them would fit inside this. It is a big boy. Alright. But I mean, I replaced my CR10 with it. So it needed to be a big boy, and I mean, I won't say that I always print the print volume. Like, I don't print big parts with it, but I use the print volume for projects. Like, when I printed, I'm doing a couple V0 builds, and, you know, the fact that I could print almost the entire V0 black parts in one bed is super useful. I did a time lapse of it and made a YouTube short out of it. Super useful when you're busy and you just want, you know, your prints to be all set up and go. I really like the move towards sharing 3MF files and print beds. A lot of the like bamboo upgrades you'll see, like the filament spool winder, where someone will make ready-made print beds for you. And I love that. And Ben Sion from Rav Mehmad did the same thing for the V0 build. So I just took those. I combined a bunch of them because the print beds were for a smaller printer. And Bob's your uncle. Print a Voron in an evening, overnight. I'm melting in here. All right. We have our display cable. We have our LCD cables. We have this hooked up. Now we need to figure out the Dyze design. It's such a shame. Look at this. It's like 5 centimeters short, but I'm still going to have to extend the cable. Because I don't think I've got any more slack anywhere. So I guess we're going to be doing some soldering. Do I talk about the new Voron 2.4? I haven't seen it in person. I think it's awesome. How could you not think it's awesome, you know? Let's see this Dyze design Orthus. If there's instructions or a guide to where I can find them. Don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. That's cool. Installation instructions, docs.dyzedesign.com. All right, let's check it out, guys and gals. docs.dyzedesign.com. Okay. Extruders. You guys are blocking the screen. Sentinel? No. Nozzles? No. Extruders, nozzles. It's not Sentinel. It's Orthus. Orthus. Okay, let's see. All right, mount the Orthus. Done. Connect it to your motherboard. Connect the provided connector to your Orthus. Depending on the motherboard, the pins will vary. Refer to the wiring section. Okay, black is ground. Obviously, blue is signal. Red is 5 volt. Oh no, what happened? Did I lose you guys? Am I still on? The camera died. Hold on. Let me check the camera. Hold on. Battery died. Weird because it's supposed to be getting power from the computer. I guess it's not. All right. Okay. We're back. Hang on. That's not the right camera. Oh wait, I gotta hit tether. Cool. ISO setting. Cool. We're back. Sorry about that. It's not getting enough power. All right, cool. So Dyze Designs, duet board, no. We need a, not Marlin, not Rep Rap. Ramps, duet, pins. Okay. Servo pins always have the right pins, 5 volt ground and signal. Okay. There's a duet board, duet expansion board, ramps. Okay, we need to look up BTT Octopus. Here we go. Voron CNC. Yeah, I'm doing one of those too. I missed something in the chat. Let's see. BTT Octopus pins. That's what we need. All right, which way is this facing? Hang on, guys. We gotta go full screen here. Why is there a weird motion effect? The camera has zebra enabled, and I haven't disabled it. Okay, there's the processor. There's the power. So this is upside down in the printer. That's the motors. Okay, now let's find the closest one so that maybe we don't have to solder. What do you guys say? But I think anyway we're gonna have to solder. The end stops are all the way up there. So we need to find either an end stop or a servo. Hot end, R, da, 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 da. Fan. That would be hot end. Fan. Stop me, guys, if you see an end stop or a servo. Diagnostic, sensor, but I don't think that's what we need. Maybe it is. Servo is on the corner. Which corner? HE? top right corner. Damn, that doesn't help me. I mean, it helps, but BL touch. Is that servo? I mean, it's a kind of servo. It's also not in use here. Raspberry Pi, TFT. Yeah, I'm gonna have to solder for literally like 10 centimeters or less. Like 5 centimeters. EXP1, EXP2, ground. Diag are the end stops as well. Okay. Wow, I'm really glad you're here, Matrix Ray. So I can use one of these diag, but I need 5 volt, not 3. It says 3V3, which I assume is 3 volts. BL touch is a servo. Yeah, 3 volt isn't going to work for me though, right? Rep. Duet. 5 volt ground and signal. So I definitely need, and these are 3. Here I have 5 volts, but those are fans. Here I have a 5 volt, but I don't know what that is. J74. Just use a fan port. It says to use servo or end stop. It's also possible to use expansion or communication, but it does not say anything about using a fan port, which makes me a little nervous. I'm sure I could do it, but anyway, I'm gonna have to solder, so I might as well just pick the right one. Ground, PF5, PF6, TB, no, those are thermistors, I think. Wow. Raspberry Pi, so should we just take BL touch? Which is gonna be in the very top left. That wasn't good. It's currently covered. All right, what you got? Type C. To the left of Type C, it's a mess in here. I don't know which one's which. BL touch, ground. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's Raspberry Pi. Doesn't seem like it, but it is. So that's ground, 5 volt. PB6, is PB6 going to be data? Yeah. Let's just see if we have a better choice. But otherwise, PE. Oh, here. Expansion 1. I could use any of these. Is that going to really help me? I don't think so. Where is that? PE. Directly up. No. I'm very confused, to be honest with you guys. PD6 and PD5 are exclusive. Okay, so I cannot use PD, you said, not PB. Wow, you're good to have around, man. So I could just use the BL touch. I don't even know what UART is. But I could use the PE. Expansion 1 or expansion 2. But here's an interesting little tidbit. I'm pretty sure that expansion 1 and expansion 2 are currently being used by the LCD. In fact, I guarantee it. That's exactly what they're being used for. So I'm just going to check a couple other areas. USB-A, diag. I don't want to mess around with 3 volt. Ground, 5 volt. These are all fans. RGB, ground, 5 volt, all fans, ground, 3 volt, fan, 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 fan. All right, let's just use the BL Touch. Which means we gotta crack out a soldering iron. Good morning. All right, we need a soldering iron to add 10 or 15 centimeters to these cables. I'll be back. Now you guys are all going to see how bad my soldering technique is. I'm not stoked about that. Alright. Let's do this. Because then I really do have other work to do. Like videos to record and like real work. Okay. Let's heat you up to 400-ish. Let's get a surface to work on. Easier said than done. I'm gonna get a wire stripper, guys. This. Strip them down. Got a new wire stripper I don't know how to use. EXP1 and 2 are normally used for LCD. Yeah, that's what's happening here. It would appear. Oh no, didn't mean to do that. Or that. All right, let's see how this new wire stripper is. It was $1 on AliExpress. Can't go wrong. Probably better doing what I know. Matrix, what other printers have you built? You might have already said, but I can't keep track of who is what. Sounds like you've recently built a Voron, or are you the one who's currently building a Voron as we're speaking? Okay. Let's not knock that soldering iron onto myself. So I'm already injured and broken enough this week. But you're going to take the LCD out anyways, aren't you? You know, just in case, I'm going to leave the connections there. In case I can't get KlipperScreen working or something. I've been burned before and had KlipperScreen not work for me. So, yeah. This is like my 3rd attempt. Alright. Let's get some hookup wire. Sounds like you built Vorons, man. Does the SVO1 use the same board, or how did you know so much about this board? You know, if I want to do this nicely, I could run this wire around. Anyway, it doesn't take any extra effort to run more hookup wire. So let's do that. Unfortunately, all I have is this black and red. Not great. Rapido Plus UHF versus Goliath. Well, I haven't tried the Goliath at all. I have the Rapido, not the Rapido Plus UHF. And I'm happy with my Rapido. I'm very happy with it, actually. I'm trying just because I want to try out the Mosquito Magnum for one of my 0.2s. So I'll let you know how that goes. But I've been happy with the Rapido. Then again, there's the whole, IP, and some people don't want to support slice engineering because they patent things. Other people don't want to support Fadus because they allegedly copied things. So I think there's also, as much as we want to make the decision based on just the hardware, there is also an element of like, what kind of company do you want to support? I didn't know all that last time, and so I went with whatever, and this time I want to give slice engineering a try. Alright. Let's solder, as the Australians say. It's going to be really embarrassing if I screw it up on a live stream. Alright, so this lone cable that's black is going to act as a blue cable. And no, I don't have helping hands here. I thought about setting up a separate camera angle from the top so you guys can see. Would that be valuable? Or, I mean, it's more work for me because I'd have to lift up my hands every time and, switch cameras. But if you guys would find a lot of value out of it, I could definitely do it. Let's... SE screwed up, not when they patented things and held on to their part of defending the patent. So when did they screw up? I don't understand from that. Sorry. They messed up when they decided to lash out at people. Yeah, I interviewed Dan because I wanted to hear their side of the story. And I think he and I agree, and you sound like you agree as well. Like, people don't disagree so much with the patents. Or if they do, they just aren't realistic about the way the industry is going and also like the way the world works. But I don't know about lashing out at people. I don't want to comment because I've interviewed Dan in the past. I know that he explained to me on the podcast episode a little bit about like the conflict they had with Vez 3D. Obviously, I only heard his side of the story, but I will be interviewing Vez soon. I don't know if we're going to talk about that because I think, let's all just move on. But if he wants to talk about it and clear the record, that's fine too. Always happy to hear both sides of a story. Their patent is bogus. Patents aren't an issue. Okay. I don't know enough about patents, and I've decided that my policy on specific my policy on patent law as a whole is I don't know enough, but also after the whole fiasco with not fiasco, but the backlash people gave Bamboo about their patents, and then the response from Bamboo was like, I don't think you guys are reading the patent right. And that may be a dodge or a non-answer, but also, my wife is an attorney, and I can tell you a lot of times I'm not reading. Contracts are something different than patents, right? And my wife wasn't specifically in IP, but she, has a law degree and obviously studied IP in university and stuff. And there's something to be said about people reading patents wrong and referencing the wrong part of the patent and saying this patent is too generic when actually that's just the background of the patent. So I don't know. I don't really want to comment on it too much. But Dragon is definitely an offender. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's see how I can get this soldering done. So my dad taught me how to solder when I was 8 or something, with his help and oversight and everything. And then I recently watched a YouTube video. My dad's an electrical engineer, or was by education. And I recently watched a YouTube video and realized that he actually taught me wrong. And the things that he taught me wrong are very common mistakes that a lot of people make. I can't say that watching that video has actually improved my soldering technique. But I think also my soldering equipment is shit. So there's that also. It's shit, and I don't take good care of my soldering tips. And then they don't melt stuff properly. And I know I should be using a wet sponge. I don't have one handy. I don't have a sponge here at all. I don't think. Maybe. But I am open to criticism. I'm open to constructive criticism on my soldering technique. I'll move the mic in a sec so you guys can hear better. Okay. That's one. This, and while we do that, we can move the mic. Actually, I don't know how much I can improve the mic, guys. I'm using not the right mic because I don't have the right cable here for it. Beautiful. So who's going to help me actually program the board to get the Dyze design working properly? That's the part I'm actually most nervous about. I'm very confident with the rest of it. I saw that they lashed out at people when they called people communists and stuff just because they were calling out patent trolls, which they technically aren't. Yeah, I think they probably got a lot of flack in private from people, and their whole communist thing was like, people expect everything to be open source, but that's not realistic, right? And Dan from Slice and I talked about this on the podcast, that like it's very vindicating for him. Obviously, he doesn't want to see Prusa suffer, but it's very vindicating for him that even Joe himself in his blog post was like, hey, we got to talk because this is not what we meant when we open sourced our designs, you know? Like AliExpress clones and stuff, and you know, we're going to remain open source, but also we have the right to make money off of our designs, and maybe in the future we have to protect ourselves in some different way, like changing the open source license so that only certain things are allowed. And I support that. I think that we don't get better products as consumers unless people are able to make money off of their innovations. I just don't see it happening. That's how capitalism works, right? Like, someone needs to be able to make money. There needs to be a financial incentive. This is the wrong size shrink tube. I know that now. It's fine. It'll be fine. Okay. Now let's get those original connectors back on. I have a crimping tool. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to solder these connectors back on. So this was blue. Let's do that first. I actually don't have the right size shrink tubes here. So the whole thing about previous art is that that's not there to say like we, and that's where a lot of people get confused apparently, is it's not there to say we came up with this idea. Previous art is there to explain like, here's what we're building upon, here's the, you know, the current state of the industry, for example, and then here's what we're developing and how it's different. And I think, at least what I've been told, is, you know, by like Bamboo's CEO and also by Dan, is people read the patent and they go, wait a minute, that's so-and-so, that, you know, is open source, someone else developed it. But previous art is not in any way, again, I'm not a patent attorney, I don't understand enough. Previous art is not in any way claiming ownership over that. It's just letting the patent, whatever, you know, committee or whoever reviews these things, understand like what's happening in the industry. Like this is what other people are doing, and here's how ours is different. I could be wrong about that. Even Dr. Tao from Bamboo was like, I don't know how to read the patents that I am listed on, you know? Like I let the patent attorneys handle it. I don't understand beyond. I tell them, here's what I invented, and then they go in and do all the research and create a patent around it. Which, say what you want, you know. You could say, hey, how could you sign a patent application if you can't read it? But I didn't. I own trademarks, and I don't understand those contracts, you know, and those applications. Like, I just know the lawyer said you can use this trademark for this thing in this specific way to sell this kind of product. Anything else, you don't own the trademark for. Okay, cool. You know, there is something to be said, like, you wouldn't do your own surgery. There's something to be said about lawyers being specialists in their industry, and us who are not legally trained not understanding what they're doing. It's elusive, it's kind of misleading, right? Because we can read the English. We can read WebMD, but then we don't have the nuance of understanding when we go to the doctor and say, oh my God, I think I have this. And they go, you can't have that. Only women can have that disease. You know, you're like, oh, WebMD didn't say that. So I don't know. I'm ultimately in favor of two things. One, whatever gives us, the users, the best printers, but also two, whatever, because I'm an entrepreneur, whatever rewards the people who are developing the printers within reason, right? Like if these people are working hard to develop products for us, I don't want their products to get stolen, because then next time whoever comes along with an idea is just not going to do it, because they're going to say, well, I don't want to be the next Prusa where I come out with this idea and everyone on AliExpress copies it, or I don't want to be the next Bondtech where I develop this. I'm not going to waste my time and energy developing something new because it'll be on AliExpress in a month. That doesn't benefit anybody. And also, I'm a bit of like a, you know, I don't want to say like social justice warrior because that means something else, but it's important to me that, you know, people are treated fairly. My Mac's going to run out of battery. Hang on, guys. All right, the print is done on the Soval. So hopefully we can get the touch screen wired up next. Let's first make sure this computer doesn't die. All right, cool. So we've now extended these cables. I turned off the soldering iron a little too soon. Like I said, I do have real work to do today, but I just need to get some of this stuff done. It's crazy to me, 2 hours already, and I'm not anywhere near done a single one of the upgrades that we were going to do. Okay. That's the soldering part done. Squish that solder so it's nice and compact. This is where I always get into trouble. I never have the right shrink tube size and I always make a mess. Come on, man. You guys are good luck. And yeah, I have a heat gun, but this is faster. All right. Let's now do this the proper way and run all these cables all the way around so they are out of harm's way. Come on. Hoping I wouldn't have to take it all apart, but I do. All right. Cool. Those three are through. Let's get these DIN rail covers back on. You guys notice how I keep like doing stuff and then having to undo it and redo it? Because I get impatient. I'm like, ooh, I want to get all these wires tucked away. And it's like, nope, not done. Need to do it again. If I just left everything open till I was done and been patient, save time. All right. Great. Where's our schematic? We said we're going to do BL touch. So the ground needs to go here. Ground is all the way at the top. And just to be clear, it's the exposed ones, right? Because there is one that's like a Molex connector, but I think that's something else entirely. That's TFT, J70. I think, yeah, it's supposed to be this, the exposed ones. So there's ground, 5 volt will be red. Let's get it so that the label is up. And PB6, you said I can use PB6, right? But not PD. Let's see. Scrolling through your very helpful comments. DuPont header. Well, there's one that's like a female connector and one that's just exposed prongs, and I'm pretty sure I should use the exposed prongs. Let me check. I wish I could tip matrix ray. Can I tip the fans? Let's see, PD you said are exclusive, so I can use the PB. Okay, and yeah, I'm using the exposed ones. Signal would be PB6. Okay, let's remember that I used PB6. I'm wondering if maybe it would be wise to put some hot glue on that connector. Or maybe I'll just use this as a strain relief. Put that around there. Hey, does anyone know what the purple USB cables are? I know the orange ones are quick charge, but I've started seeing purple USB cables. I mean, we all know blue. What's the deal with the purple? Love to know if anyone knows why we've started seeing like lavender USB connectors. adapters. I sense that it's like 100 watt or something. It's like above orange. Would be my take, I guess. All right, cool. Once again, I'm putting this on before I've even tested, which is silly. I haven't even tested my soldering. All right, let's double check. So LCD display done. Webcam wired up. Extension cable good to go. And Dyze design, Orthus good to go. See how that VHB tape keeps falling apart? Purple is Huawei Supercharge. Thanks for that. All right. I knew that cable was going to fall. Okay. Still need to deal with all that. All right. Now we need to deal with Klipper and setting up. So I see rep wrap, ramps, Marlin, pins, rep wrap, hard filaments, soft filaments, quick setup, accurate setup. Klipper. Orthus works with Klipper 0.1.0 and up. I guess we should power on the printer. In printer CFG, add a new section. All right, let's get a power cable going. Shine so bright. Just getting a power cable, homies. Power cable, power cable, power cable, power cable. I shall return dealing with the power cable. It's always the last place you look. So why would you keep looking? Let's boot it up. Hopefully no magic smoke escapes. Hello, sweet girl. Okay. I love this printer. More than I should. Okay. Look at the quality of that print. That is printed forward level perfection off a Sobel SV07, unenclosed. Quite impressive. I use skirts. Filament jet black ASA. All right. Let's get this guy going. Who? I have no idea. Let's see. Let's go in here. There we go. All right, let's play around in Klipper a little bit, shall we? Okay. Detection length is the minimum length of filament pulled through the sensor to trigger a state change on switch pin. So I set it to 2. Right? Yeah. 2. This value will need to be tweaked in order to, okay. So hard filament is mostly what I print. Let's do 0.8. 0.8. Okay, extruder, your extruder. What do I need to put in there? I don't get it. I don't understand. R, E, and L given the preceding table. Okay. What is M591? Does anyone know? I think that's probably, yeah. M591 is probably report. I'm not a madman. For me, this is noon. Okay, M591 is filament sensor. Okay. Sorry, it's just everything is configure filament monitoring. Everything is blocked by the live streaming. I don't know what M591 is. You guys see how bad I am at reading instructions? I'm sure it's written here. We're going to do the quick setup. Okay. And where was I? The name of the extruder section this sensor is associated with. The same name used in your config file. Okay. Let's save and close. Let's look at the config. Where is config? Maybe it's printer config? It's quite tricky to do this when the live stream is covering. Hey, Luis. Extruder. What's the name of the extruder? Enable pin, rotation distance, heater, sensor type, pressure advance, extruder, step pin, dir pin, enable pin, thermistor. Let's see. Stealth burner, time lapse. Shell command. Printer CFG is what they mean. Yeah, thanks Lightspeed. Okay, so, but I don't see anywhere that it says name. Extruder, your extruder, cool. But then I don't ever remember setting the name of the extruder. The name of the extruder section, section. There we go. That was what I was missing. Extruder, I think is what it's called. I'm just gonna double check. Also, M591 isn't usually used with Klipper. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate you. Have you done a filament sensor on here? Because if so, I'm more than happy to have guidance. This is my first time. The name is extruder. Yeah, cool. Thank you very much. Okay, parameter. This parameter must be provided. Switch pin we said was PB6. Pause on, run out, true. I'm just going to verify that that's what I did. PB6, correct. Great. PB6, pause on, run out, true. Run out G code, I guess. Well, wait a minute. I guess I don't need to do anything. If it does pause on, run out, I don't need any additional G code. The pause G code already will lift the print head. We can test it. But let me know, Lightspeed, if you have any other ideas. Haven't done the Dyze. Have done on the rep wrap before. I need to do this too. Yeah, I've been putting it off forever. So then would you configure any of this stuff, run out G code or insert G code? I sense that the answer is no. Yeah, same. Completely agree with you. This whole thing started when I had a whole plate of stuff and I ran out of filament overnight. Pause and resume macro. But it says here pause on run out. So does that mean that I need to give it G code? No, you do not need to touch it. That's what I suspect. But I don't mind testing. I mean, just cut the filament in the back, right? Okay, let's reboot. I would just use the pause and resume macro. Yeah. Okay, cool. I appreciate your help. Let us reboot and see if it's actually, well, it's getting power because it has a nifty little LED on top. I don't know if you guys can see here. Yeah, you can. There's a little LED on the sensor. And I still need to do all the touch screen and like whole front of the printer is still open. But I think I can now close up the cable chain at least. Because I'm not running anything through it anymore. I really don't like how this looks. Okay. This has to go like this. Cable chains. Oh, that's the wrong way. Sweet, 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 sweet. That is a lesson. Don't actually disconnect the cable chains, like unscrew them. Just disconnect the last link. Makes it so much easier. faster. And then actually, why do I feel like I did this backwards? No, that can't be backwards. Did I do this backwards? Because this would go like this. Something isn't making sense. I'm a little tired. You would think I would know how this thing goes back together, having built it and all. But nope. I'm embarrassed, but I don't remember how the cable chain goes on. Change yours to canvas. Nice. Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't it just... No, it doesn't just... I'm drawing a blank here. Does it... It connects to here, right? That would make sense, yeah. But then, how did I get this sucker out? It's not supposed to come out. Lightspeed, what Voron do you have? I think you have a few, but which one are you talking about? Ow. Is it also a 2.4? Yeah, this is what I was missing. All right. Remember like an hour and a half ago when I was like, I should be laying all this stuff out in a tray. It's like I know that I'm doing something stupid. It doesn't stop me. It's my lovable foibles. There it is. 2.4 is my favorite printer. More than the Bamboo. I guess you've had a lot of issues with the Bamboo. But mine is also my favorite printer. I'm curious to hear your perspective on how much of that love is just pure IKEA effect. For me, and for those who don't know, IKEA effect is the idea that like people love IKEA furniture, even the not as nice stuff. I'm not saying that the Voron isn't nice, but like people love their IKEA furniture because they built it and they put in sweat, blood, and tears, and they feel ownership over it. So in business school, they call that the IKEA effect. And I am fully aware that that is why I love my 2.4. I mean, it's not the only reason, obviously. Amazing printer. But the IKEA effect is big here. It's interesting you say that it's super reliable because mine is not. It's super reliable if I'm printing the exact same filament with the exact same profile that I've done before and calibrated, as you said. But once I change, if I get a different filament manufacturer or try something slightly different, it's anything but reliable. Like it really needs to be tuned in perfectly. But I think it's gonna be better now because I'm taking the panels off more. And I think a big part of it is just the 2.4 and Vorons as a whole. Whoa, that was bad. Vorons as a whole are not really designed to print PLA. They're designed to print ABS. And if you're trying to print PLA with it, I don't know how yours is, but mine doesn't like it at all. And the cooling isn't sufficient. Just trying to get this little sucker in here. Okay, I'll take it. Has that been your experience? Bamboo is like a crazy girlfriend. Sure, she's fun sometimes, but not when she's keying your car. Yeah, I get that. Had one of those. I will say though, my bamboo is really reliable, but not when I tinker with it. It doesn't like to be tinkered with. Even the slightest thing, like a different build plate. Nope, doesn't like it. Oh, come on. This thing is impossible. How am I supposed to... Sometimes wonder if people with smaller hands are able to do some of this stuff. All right. I use Annex 2020 clips for the panel. I leave the door completely off. Yeah, me too. Yeah, exactly. So I figured out that the magnetic panels, which I'm going to do the top one today, hopefully, are a must. You know what? It's just going to be faster if I take this apart. They're a must if you want to print PLA. The magnetic doors, obviously, as well, are super helpful. But the magnetic panels were a must. I just didn't realize because, okay, you know, say you're heating the bed up to 50 or 60. It's a very large area. And you say, come on, there's no way it's going to heat that whole chamber up with just a 50 or 60 degree, but it does. And, you know, PLA is very sensitive. So, yeah, it doesn't get to 60 degrees or whatever. But even 30 degrees Celsius is going to impact how well your PLA is going to cool, you know, versus 25 or whatever ambient room temperature is where you live. It's definitely not 25 where I live, but all right. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back with me and my dislocated shoulder, but I think we're making progress, guys. It would be cool to have an aux fan for cooling. Yeah, I thought about that. I would love to do that, and I talked to Albert about it. I mean, his V0 design, that's like one of the secret sauces of it, is the aux cooling fans. And I thought about doing it, but you know how it is. Like, if I can't turn it into content that a lot of people are interested in watching, like that's why I've been putting this off. Because only people with a Voron 2.4 are going to be interested. Maybe some people will be interested in the Dyze design. I'll do a separate review of it once I've used it. But it's like, I can't turn that into content that a lot of people will watch, and therefore I can't justify spending the time on it, which sucks. It's the not as fun part. There are many fun parts about making content. The not fun part is I sometimes can't justify doing the things that I want to do for my own projects if enough people aren't interested in it. And that's across the board. I've talked with Alan Mandic about that same thing. I talked with Angus from Maker's Muse about it on Thursday on the podcast. His advice was do it anyway. Shit. Do it anyway for your soul. Damn it. Ooh, it's not my day, guys. I'm very clumsy with this shoulder injury. There's no room in the 2.4. Well, have you seen what Albert did with the fans that go under the build, like under the bed, and then you channel the air up? I mean, I guess the flying gantry is an issue, but you could do some kind of like piping that collapsed as the gantry went up and down. Or you could do the opposite. You could do it from the top. But yeah, you're right. It's not as easy when the gantry is flying. Oh my god, this is such a pain. I've been on this one screw for the cable chain for like 15 minutes. Part of it is I don't want to block the camera. So instead of going over there and seeing the screw that I'm trying to work on, I'm doing everything blind. Let's just bite the bullet. Sorry, guys. You're gonna have to see the back of my head for a minute. Yep. Hey, HVAC. Yeah, the flying gantry. Does anyone know why my Klipper always does this? If I reboot, it doesn't. I have to unplug and replug. There's something wrong with the boot up. It's super annoying. Nice. About the rope kit. Live fast, die young. Yeah, I've realized like sometimes you have to do those little projects for your soul. Otherwise, if you turn something that you love, a hobby that you love, into a business, it's cool because you get to do what you love all day, but it also can zap the joy out of it. I used to love working on cars. I still do, but I did it as a business for 7 years because I thought, hey, what a cool thing to do after college. I'll work on cars. It's my hobby. It's what I do in my free time. And it was great and all, but it kind of, like, when you get sick of it, you've lost the hobby. And I really don't want that to happen to 3D printing because it just gives me so much joy. It's something I want to share with my kids. I would be very upset if the content grind treadmill made me lose enthusiasm for the hobby. So I'm really glad that Angus told me. He's like, dude, you got to do those projects because otherwise you will head to the burnout. And also, like, YouTube channels you. It pigeonholes you so much into just make these kinds of videos because that's what the algorithm is determined you're good for. And that's a surefire way to just get sick of it. Like, if all you ever print is Gridfinity, you're going to get real sick of 3D printing real fast. I'm on a rant, but I haven't seen the comments. Yeah, Patreon. Dang, you're streaming early. Where are you from? Yeah, I'm in Israel. So for me, it's 12:30. Pretty soon this camera's gonna run, this battery's gonna run out as well, and I'll shut it down. But for now, it's really nice to have company. So. Angus is top of the heap. Yeah, he's great. Super nice guy. Once again, connecting cable chains before I know that everything works, but I just can't look at the mess. Earliest stream I've ever been able to catch. Where are you, Killer Prince? Probe triggered. End stop Z. Open. Now, my question is, do I need to do anything else to configure this Orthus? Quick setup, soft filament, hard filament, accurate setup. We don't need accurate setup. Clipper, pause delay, detection length. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for that. Rotary switch position, switch pin, we already configured. Let's double check. That's awesome. Did you enjoy building the trident? Switch pin PB6, we did that. Do not refer to the filament present status as empty or detected to check if the Orthus functions properly. Instead, look for a change of status. When inserting or removing filament or extruding, retracting, a firmware restart might be needed to see this change. It doesn't tell me where I'm going to see it. Apparently, I also need to configure filament runout distance. Oklahoma, cool. All right, friends. Let's see if it works. Then we'll do all the pretty stuff. So I designed this bracket that goes at an angle. And I'm an idiot because I designed the angle to go the wrong way based on where I feed the filament. So I'm going to have to put the printer somewhere else. So stupid. So stupid. I feed filament from the left, and I'm just now realizing I put it in the wrong way. Whatever, fuck it. I'll deal with it. I'll put a filament spool holder here. Okay? So that's that. Let's load a Bowden tube in from my super professionally done drilled hole. Okay? Great. Let's go score some filament. Klipper can do cool conditional stuff. So now we just need to figure out if it's working. Yeah, there's actually a mod for the stealth burner using a micro switch that you can do. I was going to do it, but then this just seemed easier to me than programming my own. But maybe I'll still do it. It basically adds a 5mm ball bearing and a micro switch right on the filament path, so it doesn't add weight, really. All right, let's load some filament and see if anything happens in the interface. I mean, Orthus, here, empty. Look at that. Ha! Look at that. All right, you guys ready? See if it actually works. Okay, they did say don't expect the status to change. So, hang on. Do not refer to the filament present status empty or detected to check if. Look for a change of status when inserting or removing filament or extruding or retracting. A firmware restart might be needed. Okay. I mean, that's kind of annoying. Should we just try a print and see what happens? Because why not? What is this? For some reason, since I switched to Orca Slicer, I can't get my thumbnails to work right. All right, let's print. Let's see what happens. Maybe in the meantime, while that happens, we're gonna get some of these magnetic panels on. And then we can do KlipperScreen, our next project of the day. Like I said, there is on Voron mods, there's a modified stealth burner housing which has a filament sensor path in there. Oh no, I'm doing Orthus. I don't know the difference, to be honest. All right, KlipperScreen. We got this bracket. I just printed off. We got this display. I feel like we should test that everything works before we start integrating stuff. Is it a bad idea to plug the display in while it's powered on? Can I do that? Or should I wait? Why does it say extruder off? Something's up. I definitely shouldn't be printing either with the cable chain not on. So I got lucky there. Let's see how much I screwed up on this printer in the last 3 hours. Heat bed's heating. Yeah, they talk about a lot of false positives and that you can tweak and configure. I set it to just the setting that is not very sensitive because my Voron doesn't jam that much. The Fetus has a reputation for jamming, but mine almost never does. Now, of course, that I've said that, next print. Okay, let's power things down then, and we'll connect the screen. Test it. Duet's filament monitor is horrible. Sorry to hear that. I think one of the things that's guiding me with this Voron is the fact that I leave it at the studio now. And, you know, I use Obico and stuff, so if I get spaghetti, I'm great. But if something goes wrong, this thing can be left unattended for, 12 hours and just wasting energy, making a mess. So I'm really seeking to make it as smart as possible to where I can comfortably leave it, and when I'm with my kids, I'm not checking the print every 20 minutes on Obico. You hate the Fetus. Magnum Plus, but I just don't want to take it apart when it works. Yeah, I have on this next build I'm doing the 0.2, I'm going to do Mosquito Magnum. Alright, let's hook up the screen. I'm really hoping for the best. I've had so much bad luck with KlipperScreen. It's actually comical. Like how many different screens I've ordered that didn't work. And then the cables don't work, and then the touch interfaces don't work. It's just not meant to be, me and KlipperScreen. Okay, ribbon cable is installed. Let's power it on and see if it works. Mosquito magnums on everything. That's cool. It seems like it's heavy. I mean, it looks heavy, but I haven't compared it. You guys are up late, those of you who are in the States. Appreciate it. Okay, we're really hoping for the screen to kick on any second. Because I previously installed KlipperScreen. Maybe it's not working. Come on. Right now the whole printer's not booting on. What, could the screen be shorting something out? Whole printer isn't booting. Yeah, I agree with the ceramic heaters needing to be the norm. Really? Plastic falling out of my hair. Really? The whole printer is not booting up anymore. Build a Voron, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Yeah, the whole printer won't boot. This Nevermore has sunk itself in. Ground it out, unplug the screen. All right, I'll try it. Thanks. I guess it's possible I flipped the connector. If I burnt the screen, I'm going to be so freaking pissed. All right. Good night. Thanks for all your help. Really appreciate it. All right. We have power on the screen. Lightspeed, you're a legend. Thank you. Yeah. Look at that. Interesting. The contacts had to be facing out, not facing the actual screen itself. Very interesting. Would not have expected that. Hey! Well done, Lightspeed. Okay. Let's turn you around. Little T-nut. Flip it around. Get in there. Get in there. Get under there. Little trim panels. Come on. Let's go, little buddy. You can do it. You don't have much of a choice. Get in. There you are. That's a good girl. That's a good printer. Thanks so much, Poor Boy Channel. Really appreciate you guys keeping me company. makes all the difference in the world to have folks who can keep me company and also sometimes know exactly why the printer's not moving up. Now, how the heck did I line that up the first time? All right. Aesthetic pieces are going to have to wait, gang. Ain't got no time for that. Let's see. Dyze design. Orthus detected. Hey, we did it, you guys. Maybe you shouldn't dance on stream. That'll be on the internet forever. So now we got to connect this screen, mount it on, and we got to install KlipperScreen because apparently it's not working. Main menu, job status, inspiration, installation. From inspiration to installation. First steps, install the screen, setup, auto install, yeah. Clipper and Moonraker, done. KlipperScreen. What did we say? 192.168.115. All right. KlipperScreen already exists. I knew that I had tried. Okay, moonraker.conf. Let me know if you guys have questions or anything, because I'm here. Moonraker.conf. Server authorization. Trusted clients. That's in there. Okay, we'll deal with Update Manager in a minute. Okay. Great. Sudo reboot. When in doubt, sudo reboot. Let's get this camera mounted. Well, I may have made something that is impossible to actually screw on. All right. Hey Nevax, welcome. Audio compression. Okay, cool, thanks. I can do that. I don't shout for joy that much. I don't have that many wins. There are a lot of... Shit, why is it not working? Okay. Let's get this on there to the best of our interoperability right now. It's temporary anyways, because I need to redesign the mount. Okay, I think I need to go up there. And again, Clippy is not starting every time. Temporarily, we'll just put the camera on this molten mounted thingy that's also not going to fit when I try to close the printer, I just realized. That's funny. Yeah, that was stupid, guys. I can't close the printer now because of this mount that I made. Ha! Idiotic. Okay, we'll be redesigning that today. But just for right now, let's get the camera mounted so it's not dangling. Or not. All that work to route all those wires. Didn't quite think about how the camera would actually fit. So that's fun. You know what? Not going to deal with it right now. Okay, KlipperScreen, definitely not working. Force logins true. Requires the Moonraker API key. Troubleshooting. Anyone know anything about KlipperScreen? Shows console instead of KlipperScreen. That's right. If you see this line in the logs, let's find out. No screens found. Yep. The screen is just at console. It's at the command line. So I have this one, TFT50. Screen rotation, LCD show, output. I don't know if I need to do this. I don't want to do this if it's not right. Got all this. Auto boot to console enable. How do I? This is my first time doing KlipperScreen. So what do I need to do? No screens found. I'm pretty sure that's what it says, right? No screens found. Right. I don't know if I need LCD show. First step in setup. Let's see. Hardware. So I need to do this, I guess, 90 monitor conf. Then install KlipperScreen, which I did, then go to the troubleshooting. I missed that. Thank you. Thank you. Super helpful. All right. Well, at least now we know the screen works, so I think we can start getting this on. I really got to finish this. This is crazy. I've been on for, what, 3 hours now? Really got to finish and get to work, like actual real work. Still says Voron login. Interesting. Any other ideas? I think maybe we have to do, well, first off, this. But I also think, smart. I think I have to do something about like forcing the login. And I'm gonna have to unplug this ribbon cable. Hang on. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any other ideas. I'm gonna boot it up in a second. is a nice design someone made. Kind of pinches these cables. That should be fine. All right, let's boot it up. No ideas? Let's see if it's working. No. All right. Here we go. Nope. Voron login. No screens found. Ooh, this is not fun. I don't want to do this. I don't know if anyone's watching anymore. This has got to be super boring. System control status KlipperScreen gives me this. So it says no screens found. I think maybe I need some drivers. Oh, this isn't even the screen. It's not the right one. That's not the right one. I mean, we may need drivers, but I don't know which one. I don't think I need LCD show. Okay. Don't know. Don't know, guys. Might have to move on to something else for now. Because all I get is Voron login. Okay. But then why does it say that it's disabled? All right, let's try. Let's try not to scratch the screen in the process. I feel like I lost you guys. back, baby. KlipperScreen now working. Beautiful. Little Googling was all it took. My God, it's already 1 o'clock. All right, guys, we have KlipperScreen working. Pretty slick. Now let's figure out how to connect all this stuff and get the printer back in working order. Anybody there? No comments, nothing? Okay, I would assume that this just goes like this. Yep. And then this gets connected to there. Yep. All right, let's power down the printer, connect everything up. We're good to go. Greetings, HVAC. So the issue was the GBL driver or G something driver. Let's not break the ribbon connector now that we have everything working. Let's close everything back up. Whoa, keep it all on the table. My God, my shoulder is so messed up. Goes. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. Just knock that cable. I really hope it still works. Okay, everything in here is good. Closed up and ready to rock. Let's close you up. Yeah, it was just a driver in the end. Had to just select the right one. It is not a WoW stick, it's the AliExpress knockoff version, and I love it. It's a cheapy piece of junk, but it works great, and it was like 30 bucks. Yeah, I use it for everything. Super good. Not super powerful, but I don't expect it to be for whatever, 30 bucks, you know? I think it was 35. All right. Let's get this mounted on first, and then we'll mount the screen to it. I'm going to disconnect the screen, maybe. I don't want the cable getting pulled. Actually, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to reconnect it if I disconnect it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to reconnect it. The angles are too tight. In fact, I may have pulled it out already. we need to check. It'll be okay. All right. Let's get this mounted on the frame. We'll use some of these that are already here. Beauty. Nevax, where are you tuning in from? That is a nice mount. Whoever designed it, I don't remember, but it's perfect. Can't do that angle. All right, have a good day at work. HVAC. France, nice. Yeah, this is a design. Rigid, easy to work with. Well done. Perfect. Now let's get the screen on there. I wanted to reroute the screen cable, but it's not going to happen. It's going to have to go like this. I think it's upside down. Great. Now, the real question, am I supposed to put threaded inserts in there? I believe the answer is yes. All right, gang, we got to do some threaded inserts. Didn't see that coming. I'm not even going to change heads on the soldering iron. Threaded inserts. Into the back of the screen, which is now wired up and not mobile. No biggie. We're already so far off schedule, it doesn't matter much. Okay. Come on, don't make this difficult. Yeah, it's pretty dark. I'm gonna have stuff on the wall. I just haven't gotten around to mounting it and printing all the stuff that I want to put on the walls. Whoa. Power cable just tugged on the soldering iron. But we soldier on. 1, 2. That is really tugging on the soldering iron. The whole power extension. 3. Okay. All right, hang on. I really don't want to scratch this screen. And 4. Done. That there. Greetings from Germany. Greetings from Israel. All right. Beautiful. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Gotta love a heat set insert. They just make everything so smooth. Now I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to reach. Wow, I am. This is a good design. I mean, he even factored for the cutout in the acrylic on the bottom panel. There goes that. Have I mentioned to you guys that I injured my shoulder, so even lifting up this arm is just excruciatingly painful. So if I'm a little clumsier than you'd think I should be, that's why. All right. Come on. Get out of there. Beautiful. 45 degrees and everything. I feel like there should be a faceplate over it. Maybe I didn't print it. Because the glass is quite exposed. But I can always print that once the printer is actually running. Excellent. Just harvesting screws from elsewhere for now. That one's not quite lined up. Not quite. Ever so slightly off. Like a millimeter off. Can I finagle it? Get it to work. Yes. That's a thing of beauty. I have to say that since I built this printer, the front skirt has been off, just waiting for me to do all these upgrades that required access to the Raspberry Pi. So it's going to be real nice to close this thing up once and for all. Okay, guys, let's get this skirt on, which hasn't been on since I built it. Put that there. Where do we have some of these? You guys can see how these projects get out of control. Like 4 hours just to upgrade the printer, much less build one. So I think once I get this booted up, we're going to call it a day. That is enough live streaming for one day. And later I will install the panels on the top after I redesign some kind of mount for the camera. Sure. Any last questions, anyone, before I end the live stream for today? I know there's not a lot of people who've stuck around for 4 hours. I appreciate anyone who popped in to keep me company anyway. Do I know about OpenScan 3D Scanner? No, I didn't know about that. That sounds really cool. Is it hard to build? And how do you get the components? Like, can you just get openly available LiDAR scanners and cameras and stuff like that? Sounds pretty hard to source all the parts. Nice. This is the first time since I built this printer that it's going to actually look finished without wires dangling out of the front. I'm super excited, you guys. Beauty. It works with the Raspberry Pi camera. Wow, that's impressive. Too long. Keep losing screws. No more click wheel. All right, friends, last screw. Then it is time for me to get to some real work. Ha. She's closed up. I mean, she's wide open, but the guts are closed. I'll work on the panels a little bit later. We soldered the Orthus on, so that's good to go. We installed KlipperScreen. We got the filament sensor tested. We relocated the camera. I would say that's a very productive day's work. I mean, I still got to bolt the camera on and print some kind of cover for this camera. But I mean, good progress, team. Good progress. And a big thanks to Dyze Design for sending out their Orthus filament sensor, and BigTreeTech for sending me their TFT50 screen. And KlipperScreen is upside down, so I need to figure out how to rotate it. But otherwise, everything works. Ha! Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This was super fun. I really enjoyed having everyone's company. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed watching the stream. And stay tuned, because this week we have another awesome podcast guest on Thursday. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, everyone.